How you girls doing, huh? How you girls doing? How's the girls? What? What? Girls. Here's the girls. Good. We got a really special set of videos coming out. I've been so busy lately, I haven't had a chance to even get caught up on all the videos. But I'll do two back to back here. I'm going to do these two females, and then I'll do their half siblings right away too. And but I will talk to you about these females. Now, it's not just these females, it was a whole litter, but I took most of the litter to the other families already. Sass will go on the weekend, but this one will stay. Now, for those of you that have been following my videos, you know I'm a preservation breeder of the old lines of Alcott. So I do things a little slight bit different than some breeders, because I breed primarily to preserve a genetic material, not necessarily to necessarily breed a dog, a style of dog, or a look of a dog, or a behavior of a dog. I breed primarily on preserving genetic material. Now, these two females are years and years and years of work for me as an absolute confirmation of what genetic preservation is at its finest. Now, I haven't done this alone. There's been many breeders that have worked with me, and they all contribute their best genetics to saving the oldest lines as well. They're doing it the same. They're preserving as well. But here in North America, I'm primarily a preservation breeder. That's their siblings. Now, what you'll notice right here is these females carry the background of some of, or almost all of, the very best bloodlines in the world. And what's totally unique about these two females is they have many champion breeders in their background. And I'll tell you a little bit about a couple of them. The father of these pups, of course, is Karu. And Kari is the breeder in Finland that has raised Karu for us. And Kari is a phenomenal breeder to work with us. Now, the mother of Karu is Ritu. And she is absolutely incredible. But so is Karu's father, his father, his father, his father. All of them are magnificent dogs, and the mother's mother, and the mother's mother, and the mother's mother. It's just a non-stop record of who's who. Now, the Finnish Kennel Club is the oldest of the Scandinavian kennel clubs, and the Finnish breeders are some of the very best in the world. And they're purists. They're breeding on the old lines and the old hunt and the old skills. The other dog that's in the mother of these pups, that's a profound set of genetics, comes out of the Ravenstone bloodline. The Ravenstone bloodline was one of the most decorated show dog breeders of all time out of the UK. They won more championships, I think, than any other breeder of record there. If they have been dethroned, I doubt it. And they brought their stock from Norway and Sweden as well, and some Finnish blood, but primarily Norway and Sweden. And they brought the very best they could get and raised the best for 50 plus years. And were an exceptional breeder. There's Norway blood in here that is profound. Some of the top dogs in all of the Norway history are running in here. There's also some of the very best of the Swedish dogs running in this bloodline. Now what's fascinating about this is that in all of the genetic material, in the code is the link to this old blood. And these girls, you can tell, that's Tuva's new litter. You can see these two females are all old world. This is like a pup from 1890, 1880. This is what you'd see, is a pup just like this. And my whole goal is to keep this blood running. This blood is nowhere found. It's very, very difficult to find this blood. In fact, it is nowhere else. Now, the old breeders know this, so that's why they help me. And North American breeders can do it as well, to preserve this. But this is a fascinating genetic curve because it doesn't look like any of the other silver dogs. If you'll know, if you're an elk hound connoisseur or aficionado, you know that the breed standard in North America has been changed 3 times, and it's not the same as it was on the original. Now, the interesting thing is, these dogs probably wouldn't match the new standard, and they would match the old one perfectly. So what's very, very cool about these females is all of the work that we try to do is to show that genetic is there, the essence is there. It resides in all the outcomes because it's the founding genetic. So even though the parents don't look like these dogs at all, not even close, it doesn't matter because inside those parents is the founding bloodlines. And when you combine that old world of Karu from Finland and you made it to Luna and she brings forth all those other genetics, all of a sudden, boom, deep in those 2 genetic pairs that match, out comes this. And this is in every elk hound. Every elk hound carries the essence, the true genetic way back. Now, nothing wrong with saying that the new elk hound isn't true. He's true. But he's been carefully bred to conform to a slightly different breeding pattern. Not everybody breeds the way I do, and there's nothing wrong with how they breed. I'm not saying my way is better. I'm just saying I breed for preservation, and I breed solely for preservation. And I try to keep all the instincts intact, but the old genetics alive. And my goal is to bring in all of the best of the new breeding, the best of the genetics, but all the new that traces to the old and is easily traceable to the good breed into one place so that we can see how genetics can be preserved. All elk hounds, all genetics are finite. There's no more new genetics coming. Each year, the genetics shrink. There's no new genetics coming in, and so they shrink. So we have to preserve all the material that's there and use it very, very carefully. And there's certain things that have to be done to preserve that. But I'll talk about that in the next video. But with these 2 females, what is so evident is these 2 are clear examples. If you looked in the old museums, if you looked at the old photos online, the really ancient photos, the ones from 1900s, 1920s, 1930s, when the breed was nicely getting photographed, when it was just nicely getting photographed, you would see these dogs. and lots of the dogs that were being imported out of the old country, they were going to America, going to Canada, going to the UK, going to different places. All of them came like this, like lots and lots and lots. And this was running all around. And this would be hard to find. This style would be hard to find today. And the reason for it is because they don't conform to the show, which is totally fine. They're not bred for the show, and so they wouldn't conform. But as far as genetic diversity goes, this is the height of genetic diversity. And at the same time, it's the height of all the culmination of all the old genetics coming together again. And all the old DNA, the little essences, the little tiny pieces. If you talk to a genetic researcher, they would tell you that by 10 generations, there's very little left of the original dog. And some really, really good PhD genetic researchers will tell you that by 20 or 30 generations, there's almost nothing left, but there's still the essence. And the old world breeders like me, you see, they'll tell you that at 100, that 200, that 250, the essence, the actual essence of that dog is still there. So, 135 years of the association, or 1877 to today, whatever that is, maybe it's even longer, maybe it's 150. Somebody do the math. But here you go. Here's the essence come right back out. So inside Karu, you see his line traces back, so he carries that finite little bit of code. And Luna, she carries that little bit of code, and boom, right like that. Here they are. Magnificent dogs. Magnificent. It's quite profound. It's profound. When you see this other group of boys, they'll blow your mind too. These happen to be two females that show it. Now, the beauty of it is I'm going to show you the half-siblings to these because, and they're more than half-siblings because the mother of this litter and that litter are half-sisters. And so I will show you how that essence is preserved by these two. Now, all the people that work with us that buy our pups, you see, they work with us because they realize that in order to preserve this, I have to sell them. I can't keep them all. And so the purists, they come here for these pups. So that's why one will go home. And I can keep either one. And it's a coin toss. I never keep on certain things. Like either, take your pick. I mean, each pup is identical here. These pups are so cloned. Like it's like they're genetic clones. Not that I like cloning, but you know what I'm saying. This is the perfect representation of two females that are identical. And if you kept these two, they could live together for life. So it doesn't matter which one goes home and which one stays here. They're both genetically equal. Both superior females. So very, very cool. So this is a cool time for me because I see this fairly regular, but this round by these two females with Luna and Bada, it's fascinating that this shows up, and shows up so clearly. It's absolutely profound. And I'll talk more about those boys, but I'm going to go ahead now and bring them over here. I'm doing it in here today because it's a good light, and then all of us are heading out on the trail. But I'm going to do it because those boys are going soon too. So I'll just do this video right now.